This is head number 3 on the test bench. Head number 1, got all the capacitors changed out. Chasing a little bit of hum, maybe nothing, maybe something. Head number 2 turned out to be a donor board. Now we got head number 3 on the bench. This one has still the original cable on it, connected with the ground switch. Now nothing's connected to the scope. The scope probe is actually just laying next to the power cable. You can see when it changes, the waveform actually changes on the scope with it. That's just the way it's reading the AC signal off the cable there. I am plugged into an isolation transformer. This unit is pulling 0.633 of an amp, and relatively, the tremolo doesn't work, but other than that, I think a little cleanup, this might be the best one yet. Just a little bit of touch-up. So, yeah. Much cleaner than the other one. The other one's all crunchy at this. Maybe I'll have to just turn up the bias a little bit and just push them a little bit. Right, just strumming a couple of those low notes. A lot of times I notice with this head, things kind of fall apart in the mids. But this one's holding up pretty well. I'm on channel B at the moment. A little scratchy. I haven't even opened it up or anything. Electronic tuning fork's a little weak. Let's go to channel A. There we go. I'm 10-10 on the guitar here. Fuzz is a little nasty. Notice this hum is the same hum as the other one, so it could just be the way it is with the reverb coils picking up that low level hum. Again, that's what what we're seeing on the scope is just the scope probe laying here next to the power cable. So it could be nothing. I have no idea how old the caps are in this one. If anything's been upgraded, I'll have to take it out of the case and just see. Do a cable update because the power cable's just falling apart. So it's clean strumming all the way through. I'm at half volume. I'm not even at full. let's crack her open and see what she looks like inside. So that is the output capacitor. There's corrosion on the terminals. And you can see there's corrosion on those terminals. And I don't know if there's like mildew or mold or something, but woo, it had that funk and my nose is itchy. But this is the cleanest setup out of all of them so far. There's been 3 of them. If we look at this board compared to the last one, I do have a magnifier glass on, so things look kind of warped. But this one here, there's no charring, no burning. The resistors are actually off of the board as they should be because they produce heat. All the caps look original. This is the only one that doesn't seem to be ever away from the PCB, but it should be because that chars. Alright, so yeah, that all looks pretty well stock. And this one, the tremolo doesn't work any longer. Now I noticed on 2 of them so far, they have this capacitor across the ground and the foot switch. That's not on the last one, so I might take the donor one, put it on there, and see if that hum drops down some. Seeing if one of these cables is acting as the antenna. Because that actually goes over here to the foot switch, and that could be acting as an antenna somehow. Because we have all these caps here. So yeah, this one looks pretty good. Plays alright. I'll pull off the reverb board here and see if we can't get that tremolo back on. Do some voltage testing. See what I find. This is the tremolo circuit. We have the reverb here. We have the reverb pot. So we'll go through it. I'm going to go through and touch up all these joints. Basically just resolder them, make sure they're good. Over the time they get wore out here. You can see this one it could not even be connected. It could just be a cold solder. Same as here. So we'll go through and redo all of these, then try it out and see if that restores any power. This here, let's turn the camera some. Here's the data cell, or the light emitting diode and circuitry right here. The voltage has got to come in to turn it on and off, on and off. Everything else looks pretty clean. I'll have to get in there and test the capacitors and stuff. I might just swap out. Let's go ahead and take a look. Got the fisheye on. So definitely swap out this one. That's an easy one to do. I got some new ones of those. And then I'll go and test all these tantalums to make sure they're good. But we've got the dust in here, the dusties. And of course there's no focus right now because of that ×10 lens on there. But let's see if we can get a little closer. Yeah, we'll go in here and touch everything up. I replaced a bunch of these on the other one, trying to get rid of that hum. Most of them tested good. 1 microfarad. Only a few of them actually tested out of range with the ESR, and that could be iffy. But this thing here, it's got the stickies. Of course, it's just age. And if we look, whoop, got the original caps in there. But who knows? This could have been on the shelf longer than it could have been played. So it looks like some solder there. Yeah, we'll replace this one and see what happens. Replace this one, touch up these joints, try it out. The solder joints are re-soldered. We just touched them all up. Now I just took out the old capacitor, and that lead was broken. I saw some solder on there, and I was like, oh, that lead, yep, touched it, and someone had, during the install, probably just tacked it like that. So now I'm going to take this ESR meter, and I'm not a pro in any of this stuff, but apparently these 1%ers, these 1 microfarads, if they're over about 10, then they're pretty much no good. And quite frankly, the larger 100 microfarad ones and stuff, even though they're all old, I've yet to have one read out of tolerance. But it doesn't mean they don't leak. I don't have a sensitive leak tester. I can put them on the voltage tester over here, and they actually still read pretty good too. But these ones, as long as they're under 10, then they're pretty good, as far as I've read. So that one's okay. 16, so that could be a problem. And that's in an audio signal path. 10 or 8.5, that's getting up there. 5.5, 3.1, 8.8, 9. .8. So yeah, I replaced some on the nether head I was working on with a couple 1 microfarad electrolytics I had. I don't have any more left. I'll have to get some in, but I might take like this one, which reads 4.5, and swap it out for, say, this one, if I can't get this functioning again. That'll be a step to take. Now it's in the reverb circuit, but still, it's all part of it. And then you got this one over here, which I have to put on this side, and then put over here 7.3. So, okay, I'm going to hook this back up and see if anything returns just from resoldering those joints and then putting in a new 100 microfarad capacitor. Board's in, cap's in, let's fire it up and see if we have any tremolo. Still have reverb. Look at that. So, resoldered the joints, swapped out the cap. That's all I did for that particular board. Tremolo returned. And judging how it's doing the same thing the other one is, the ground switch is still hooked up. I'm going to replace the power cord. Touch up the rest of the solder joints. And this one just might be good to go. There's some goop on the, it's been in a smoking environment, but clean that up a little bit and be good. So yeah, call this one basically stock and ready to roll. This one's bias is set. I've been going off the amperage because all the different ones have different amperage, but this one's set at about 0.59 amps. It's drawing through the transformer. It's a little scratchy right here, so the other one's not doing that. I'm turning the guitar, but that's actually going to be coming through the volume preamp over here, because the other preamp doesn't do that after I touched it all up. So chances are these just need a bunch of resoldering joints. You can hear that grounding, that noise. I mean, that's just how powerful this amp is. So yeah, all right, cool. That one's exciting. At least it's not blown to crap right here. And the other one, I might be able to just tweak it a little bit more and let it be.